asking the audience a very simple question. And the question is, why are you here? You know, why are you here? So who wants to stand up and answer that question? Why are you here? You know, I've asked this question from London to Jamaica to Nigeria to Hawaii, all across the country. Just came back from Syracuse, New York, Buffalo, New York, Washington, D.C. this past week, asking the exact same question. Orlando, Florida, the week before for National Black MBA, and 99.9% of the time, I don't get the answer, I don't receive an empowering answer. And so there's certain answers that you give yourself that really are disempowering. So I'm looking for an empowering answer to a very simple question. Why are you here? Why are you here? And the first answer you're about to give me is the wrong one. So watch your skip it. Ultimately, many of you are in the airport terminals of your lives. You know, I was at Dallas airport terminal, and Dell Computers, and I'm a gadget person, so Dell had this kiosk. I was so busy looking at this kiosk, I missed my flight. And so there's something that's distracting you, and you're not more intentional about what you want to create, who you want to connect to. And so somebody else now, give me the answer to that question once again, but now in a very different way. Because there's something, you're here to make something happen. And the real power is at the front of the room, the real power is throughout the room. And so I need to help you connect to somebody who's in this room. So who wants to stand up now and tell me, what do you plan to bring forward, and how can somebody in this room support you? Yes, go ahead.
My name is Don Angelo Bivens. I own a recruitment consulting firm called Soma Recruitment Solutions. And for me, it's about bringing forth creation and how I listen to my customers.
No, but ultimately, once again, I'm using some street terms here, but this thing is a hustle, all right? So there's somebody here who you need to connect with. There's somebody here, and so you need to say, listen, either I'm looking for some more employees, I'm here to get more, or I'm looking for employers. What are you really looking for? So I want people to become more intentional when it comes to these conferences. And so what do you want to create from this conference?
From this conference,
right,
specifically, an employee base as
right,
well as potential clients.
Okay, and what type of clients are you looking for?
Companies who need temporary staffing, specifically in administrative capacity from receptionists to executive assistants, right, as well as people who need marketing and human resource professionals.
Okay, good. Round of applause, okay? So that's an example of someone becoming far more intentional about what they intend to create. And that's an example of what I call mustard seed faith. You know, so the whole notion of having the faith of a mustard seed is that a mustard seed knows what it intends to become. And that's why it becomes simple. And so I'm saying to you, your success can become relatively simple the more you realize what you intend to create. Many of you in this room, you're simply, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this, you are a two-page proposal away from $100,000. It's a two-page proposal. It's not very complicated, all right? And it really starts with you focused on a larger problem. So I don't solve, I don't get paid by the hour. You know, I get paid by the problem. The larger the problem, the more money I'll begin to make. All right, and so what you want to begin to do is begin to focus on the problem that you're going to solve. And so to kind of even go one step further, there's a proposal that you need to write. Everybody here needs to get in the habit of writing these two-page proposals. You know, I was doing a teleseminar on how to write a proposal, and I probably had like 80 people on a call. And sometimes I forget that I have clients who sometimes join my calls. And it's in the evening, and this one call, I was kind of very animated, you know, talking about white folks and saying, you guys need to go out there and start getting some money from white folks. You know, stop being scared of white people. You know what I'm saying? Go get their money, all right? And so I'm on this call that's all fired up, and one of my clients called me up next and said, Andrew, man, I was on your call last night. I kind of took a deep breath. I knew the level of excitement I had on the call. And he said, Andrew, to me what was amazing was that you were telling me what you did to get $250 million from my company, and people were not listening to you. You know, they're arguing me on the phone telling me it can't be that simple. Well, it's actually that simple. All right, so right now I'm going to kind of outline some of the key elements of a document, because ultimately, you know, I'm not really a motivational speaker, because I don't believe this motivational stuff. Because half the people in this room, I call them motivational crackheads. All you do, you go from seminar to seminar, trying to get your fix, trying to get your crack, and you're here, and you want to get excited, you want to get happy, you want to get pumped up. Yeah, we're pumped up, and you don't do anything. You don't do it. And so that's why I chase people out of my set. If I see you coming, because I look at these kind of groupies who follow me from event to event. And if I see you coming and you haven't done anything, get out of here. Get out of here. I mean, I'm working with gangsters, not wanksters. All right. So you need to be real when it comes to creating something of true value. And so here's some of the key elements. This is a simple idea. The reason why I had a 90% close rate. When I was selling corporate America, 90% of the companies made a purchase within 18 months. If they didn't buy, it's always over timing. Okay? Because what I did was I would spend $5,000, $10,000 designing custom creative pieces. And so I would design, and so if you're going to Verizon, just don't walk in there and say, no. I want you to design a billboard and have it really large. You pull it out, and they're like surprised. I want you to design a radio commercial, with their jingle, with their tagline. And so by spending the money, making a kind of investment, it would happen all the time where I would show all these different creative pieces, and the brand manager would look at everything, and he'd go, hey, Bob, you got to come in here and take a look at this. Mary, come in here and look at this. Because everything was on target. And so when it comes to selling, the most powerful way to close somebody is what they call the assumptive close. Where I walk in there assuming that you're going to buy. I walk in there designing everything. And what happens is someone will be a naysayer and say, that's wrong. And I pick it up and say, okay, so if I change it to this, it'll be right? He says, yeah, okay, then we'll do it. All right? So they're already making the decision to buy. So one powerful way to get someone to buy is to have the assumptive close. The other powerful close is the educational close. Stop trying to sell stuff to people. No one can be sold. People have to be placed in a buying environment. All right? And so I'm giving you a couple of keys on how to grow your business. I've got a CD that has a lot more keys. If I'm on 125th trying to sell this CD, you won't buy it. But see, you have to understand this. And here's a very important word I really want you to write down. All money transfers hands for one reason and one reason only. There's one word. Anybody tell me the one word? It's based upon trust. Okay? All money transfers hands based on trust. And so everything you're doing should be about establishing trust in the eyes of your prospect. And so I'm about establishing trust. And once you get somebody trusting you, they're more likely to make a purchase. And so one way to close is the assumptive close. The other powerful closing technique is the educational close, where I simply go into a big company and I simply educate them about what's happening in the marketplace. And by educating them, they look at me as a thought leader. By educating them, they then want to, whatever then I say next when it comes to implementing a concept, they're far more willing to do so because I've educated them about the opportunities. Once again, these are simple ideas that I've made, I've closed six-figure deals with a simple idea. I'm calling Johnson & Johnson, trying to get Johnson & Johnson to give me $80,000. No one returned my phone call. I call them back and say, you know what I like to do is to do a brown bag seminar entitled The Latest Trends in Direct Marketing to African American Consumers. They said, come on board. And so here I am buying pizza for a multi-billion-dollar company. I come in there, I buy pizza, all the brand managers are there, and I'm simply giving them education, giving them information about these are some of the cutting-edge trends when it comes to communicating to this audience. And by the end of the seminar, they say, okay, well, what do you do? What do you sell? And by that time, they were ready to buy. And so I want you to begin to educate your end user. In closing, this is what I want to leave you with. Come to the cliff, she demanded. We are so afraid, they cried. They eventually came to the cliff, and she pushed them, and they flew. So my final words to you is spread your wings and fly. Thank you so much.